Hello listeners, a.k.a. from the future here. Unfortunately, we had to cut a topic this week due to unforeseen reason out of the middle of the show. So if you feel like something is off in some point, it's probably a result of that. We won't forget the topic though, and we'll cover it as soon as we can. Now to the episode. Hello.
Hi.
Nice evening.
Yeah, a bit late this time.
Yeah.
With the recording. In time today and in time of like when we expected to record this episode.
Oh yeah, it's double late.
Yeah.
Both of them are my fault now that I think of it. Yeah.
Feeling like you want to sabotage this podcast.
I purposefully went outside and got a cold.
Exactly.
And now I just want to record late so you're not rambling forever.
Well, never underestimate me in that regard. Never.
We'll record for the next 5 hours and I have to cut everything down.
Exactly. Well, let's hope it's not 5 hours. I mean, even 3 hours, like that would stretch it a bit.
Yeah. Also, let's hope that my recording works. But I think it works.
Yeah, well, that would be a next act of sabotage.
Sabotage, yeah.
And for everyone who isn't following, we dated basically when we're recording this episode because Apple just released their newest macOS version. And like an idiot, somebody decided to just install it on the day we were recording. And just...
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
They got rid of a whole bunch of operating system things.
Like 32-bit apps and stuff like that.
Carbon.
Which, who needs that? Oh. But, well, so far it seems to work out. Just, we'll have to hope that there's nothing broken. I mean, if I would have tried that, we definitely would have a problem.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, has nothing to do with keyboards at all.
No.
But you got one.
Yes. The one keyboard that was missing from the last mail call, so the one we did before we recorded my keyboard interview, or was that after?
No, that was after.
Oh, we had one after, right? Yeah. I'm getting old. And it was the aanzee, which finally made it into my hands because I was the last person to receive their aanzee board. Due to my original board being damaged in shipping, I was the only board that was damaged in shipping.
Yes, and then problems compiled on top of that.
Exactly. So there was a lot of problems, and it basically resulted in that the board had to be remanufactured with a new manufacturer. And that everything took its time, but now it's here. And now I have my own custom-built aanzee, and I'm loving it. It was definitely worth the wait. And it's a really nice keyboard, and I now know why you love it so much.
Yeah, except recently. And it has nothing to do with the keyboard.
I was saying, like, that's not the fault of the keyboard.
No, the keyboard is great. And I love the aesthetics of it and the way I set it up with like the all black style. I just think it looks really cool.
That was fantastic, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what I did to my switches. So I don't know if we talked about it the last time already, but just to reiterate on it, I think it started with the P key. And it just randomly stopped working 90% of the time. Like if I hit it on an exact angle, it would still work, but otherwise it was just dead. And then before I could even change the P switch, I think it was the 4 key also failed. So at some point I desoldered those 2 switches, put in new ones, and everything was fine until I didn't use it for a week or so because I used the Borstorff. And I plugged it back in, and now the N key doesn't work. 90% of the time. And I was like, I don't. Maybe I didn't clean it enough. Maybe I looped it in a terrible way. Although I don't think so, because it's the first batch of switches I ever had where I had those problems. But now I'm like, okay, screw this. I will just get all the OG Holy Pandas out of my tier 60 and put them in the aanzee, because, well, it's the way nicer board anyways, and I know those. In my opinion, they feel nicer. They definitely all work all the time, even if the keyboard is not used for a week. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe I didn't dry them long enough, and like they corrode. I have to open one up and see what it actually does.
Could be.
But it's so weird.
What switches did you put in them? Vintage blacks?
Master Holy Pandas.
Oh, the Master of Holy Pandas. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I think you didn't mention that till yet. So.
Oh yeah.
You put in the Master of Holy Pandas.
There are Master of Holy Pandas in it that they just randomly fail. That's why I was thinking of putting
the OG
regular,
ones.
like OG Holy Pandas in, because I still have some, and then I just hope that the 6 switches I don't have OG won't fail.
Yeah, just put them on the lesser used keys. And
yeah. Oh yeah, the FN key I also switched because the FN key was also failing. So it was P4, N, and FN. So it's the 4th key already that fails.
You now remind me that I'm gonna try out my Doro 67 that I built with the Mastrop switches and see if those still all work, because it's been standing since I built it like for a month now or longer on my shelf, and I'll have to check that, just out of interest.
I'm pretty sure it's my fault somehow. Either I didn't wait long enough to dry them, I didn't clean them enough, or I looped them in a bad way.
Could be, but it's also there were some news about, or like about the quality of the Master Holy Pandas not being up to par.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the worst case, I'll just buy whatever yokes and put the stems and the springs in.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's not the worst idea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an expensive idea total, but at least you would have working switches.
Yeah, well,
which
it's
is something
like sunk cost at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the price of the original Holy Pandas there should not be consideration about them anymore, because I already spent the money.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So investing in new switches to have functioning ones makes kind of sense.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I have trash pandas in my aanzee, because
that would be perfect.
Because the black housing, and I have the Halo clear stems, so it's a clear stem and not. And
oh no!
Yeah, the only thing was to harvest those stems. I had to take them out of my TXCP build, and yeah, now I have a whole bunch of Razer housings, Razer Greetech housings,
into the bin.
I'm not too sure. I think I'm gonna try, just for out of interest. I was gonna try some mods, like putting a T1 or a Zelio V2 stem into those, and just see how they react to it, like how the switches feels, and just out of interest.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they are worthless. They're just not as good as trash pandas. I mean, they were harvested from a board, so they're desoldered. I cleaned them and stuff like that, but that can always go wrong. Like you said, maybe it was something with the cleaning process that resulted in the problems you have with your Master Holy Pandas. But yeah, I don't think that the housings are quite okayish, but the trash pandas are definitely better.
Yeah.
So very happy with that. I'll just have to get used to tactile or to typing on a hyper tactile board again, because all my recent boards have been linear boards.
Yeah, I typed on my linear tofu for the last 3 days or so. For I don't know what reason, I just pulled them in.
Yeah, I currently can't decide on which keyboard I want to use.
Yeah, you have so many good ones.
Yeah, I probably cycle through 3 or 4 boards a day, just to try them all out. And
you have to set it up in a way that it's like choosing clothing in the morning. You like look at them and like, what day is today?
Yeah, honestly, well, sometimes, for instance, but they have all different qualities. For instance, I now am using my unicorn build because it's one of the most silent builds I have. I would say, like it still makes noise. It's no silent build with silent switches or dampening or stuff like that, but it's still the most silent build I have. So recording, and if I have to type something, maybe it's better to have like a less loud board. Instead of maybe using the aanzee is quite loud in a good way, but not for recording or stuff like that. And yeah, or the JO1, which is a super nice board, but nice sound, but also not the best when you have to record something. So yeah, there's that too. And yeah, that's the way I rotate through the boards. Or yeah,
What a life.
It's hard, man. It's hard. I just think that replacing those switches with the OG ones from your TR60 is a good idea, especially now that you have an opportunity to build a full TR60 meme build like I did with my IKEA build.
Oh yeah.
With yours.
So Mito teased, I think you could say, laser gator on linear switches, which sound pretty dumb. But have you seen my TR60?
Yes, I have.
Which, if you go laser, why not go full laser, I guess?
Never go full laser.
Yeah. Famous last words.
Yeah. Well, I did go full IKEA, sorry, the English pronunciation. Well, and as an explanation for those who don't know, I have a blue TR60 with linears and GMK Nautilus on it, which is all blue and yellow colored. And we both did the mods, and we both have plain 60 PCBs, right?
Yeah.
So those are made by Martin, really nice standard 60 PCB. And it also comes in a nice blue color, which fits my theme more than yours. But
so I guess I have to bother Martin to make a laser colored piece.
Oh, yes. Would be so great.
So dumb.
Dumb, but great.
But yeah, we have a RGB mod in the back.
And then we have the RGB mod, right? So mine is obviously set to yellow. And I think you can see both of them on the live stream on our YouTube account from the CIC. That we definitely showed them up off there.
Yeah, because they were next to each other.
Exactly.
IKEA versus laser build.
The two meme builds. So if you're interested, check that out. We'll have the link in the description as usual.
Yeah.
Oh, and we should probably mention that the picture I took for the aanzee was probably my best picture I ever took from keyboards.
Oh yeah, in terms of karma farming.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's the whole reason, right?
Why do we anything in this world?
Yeah,
just for karma.
For karma, for Reddit karma. No, it was really, really quite successful in that regard, and I was quite happy about that. And I think it's all also due to how good the aanzee looks.
Oh yeah, well, it's a beautiful board.
Exactly. And such a classic color combination, like black with brass or gold, if you so will.
Yeah, that's your next move. Name tag out of pure gold.
Oh,
the weight machined out of a single piece of gold. That actually would be insanely expensive because the weight is so big.
Yeah, and it would be. You would have to do something that's not pure gold because that would be too weak. I think it wouldn't hold the structure. Because pure gold is pretty mendable.
Yeah, but it's soft, so
bendable. Yeah, so I don't know.
I think it would just dent really easily, but
yeah.
But also, who has a keyboard with pure gold weight?
No one yet.
Sell your house. Off you go. Only the best of ideas.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. We probably should now get back into the real world.
Yeah, talking about bad ideas. HP had a really bad idea.
Or was it a good one?
Let's first start. What did they do? They have a gaming keyboard. They branded it HP Pavilion Gaming Keyboard 500. Whatever the 500 is stands for.
Maybe because it came with their PCs. I think that's also like the 500.
Yeah.
Or laptops. Something is named 500 for them.
But so it's a full-size keyboard, and the first thing that they say, swift, smooth, and silent. Maximize potential. And it says, in the description says, red mechanical switches not only offer the smoothest keystroke experience, but allow you to take rapid action in silence. And if you look at the price, you should start like doubting something at least, because it's $30. It's like for a full-size keyboard. And I think even the cheapest Chinese mechanical keyboards are more than $30 for a full-size keyboard. And if you go into the details, the funny fact is it's low profile. And if you look in from the side, it looks like it has regular mechanical switches.
Which, according to the description, it should have.
But if you go deeper, then it's basically a case that looks like a cherry-style switch with the slider in it. But on the bottom is a hole, and the slider pushes out of the case, or out of the switch, so to say, onto a membrane. It's just a membrane board with a...
It's just a membrane board with extra steps.
With fake switches on top and extra steps, yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody wrote a Reddit post about... The title was, by far the most advanced scam I've encountered. And this took off a bit, I think, at the day was like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we thought that was a good topic, because it's interesting.
And it would have been in the week where we planned to record this episode. So
yeah.
Would have been brand new news.
Brand new news, yeah. And in the comments of this Reddit post, people are like arguing over all kinds of stuff, as it's typically for Reddit. But somebody said, and I agree with him, that they don't think, like, it's not really a scam. And I tend to agree with I think it's just like a dark pattern of like marketing. But calling them red mechanical switches, which is what the guy was saying was the scam, that they say it has red mechanical switches, is not technically a scam because switches. Turns out it's not that clear what a mechanical switch is, and everybody can come up with their own definition, and you can argue for or against that, I guess.
Yeah. You're probably technical correct, which, as we know, best correct. Thank you, Futurama. But I think it's not it's scam. It's just false advertising. Just like it's using marketing language in a way that makes buyers probably expect something that isn't.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said dark pattern of marketing. Because they market it in a way to make the buyers believe it is something that it isn't.
Yeah.
While staying technically correct.
Exactly. The best correct.
And I mean, it's an asshole move. Even though I say that it's not a scam because they're technically correct, but it's definitely an asshole move.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, what I can't get in my head is just like how, as you said, this is really cheap for, in quotes, mechanical keyboard at $30 or 30 euros or whatever. I mean, a normal membrane keyboard is already like 20 euros, I think. Probably from Cherry at least.
Yeah. So a membrane keyboard from HP starts at like $10.
Yeah.
They go from 10 to like 20.
Yeah.
For a fancy one.
And this has like, you have to have stabilizers, you have these pseudo switches which have to be manufactured.
You need an actual case to put the sliders in switch housing, let's call it like that.
Yeah.
In.
So you go through all these steps to make a fake well, as we said, like it's a membrane keyboard that actuates with switch plunger basically.
Yeah, well, it's slider on dome.
Yeah, but
not dome over
actually,
slider, but
no,
because it's the sliders on top. But
yeah, but you can take off the switch. It's like a self-contained switch that just the plunger pushes through and activates the membrane. I mean, yes, technically.
Yeah, but if you don't see it as a switch, it's basically just the case for the slider and the slider.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, what I was trying to get at is like this has to be some costs, because I don't think these type of pseudo switches are just like easily done by companies like in their normal portfolio. I feel like. I mean, maybe.
I
don't know.
Trying to offend anybody, but I could totally see that some random Chinese manufacturer has them in their portfolio and just produces them for some stuff that we just never see. I don't know, like $5 keyboards for the Chinese market.
It could also just be that HP bought this from a Chinese manufacturer, and just stamped their label on it. Could very well be.
That's probably more likely than my theory, actually, now that I think of it.
Yeah. So, but it's so curious. I mean, there are obviously red flags, like just red flags, haha. Like the calling it with red switches and no manufacturer of the switches, which is what every other mechanical keyboard does. Like there's always are cherry switches or Kale or our Razer own branded whatever switch, whatever it is. Just like there's a name attached to the switch type.
Yeah.
And choosing red as a switch color, so to speak, is also pretty predatory on gaming keyboard interested people, because most gaming keyboard interested people are looking for something like a red switch, like normally the cherry reds, because those are the lighter linear switches in comparison to the blacks. And
yeah, I mean,
there are a lot of boards.
I think you can't make a rubber dome board very heavy. Like you have to make the rubber dome so thick.
No, what I was trying to get at is like that people who look for gaming keyboards are just like, oh, I read in a review online or so that red switches are the best gaming switches or something like that.
Right.
And so, more from that perspective, that the red switches are very thought after, like the cherry red switches or cherry style switches, MX switches, are the ones that are often searched for by people looking for a mechanical gaming keyboard, if they don't have like the own branded switches like Razer or other do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's designed to get those people.
Yeah, the question is it designed to trick people into thinking that it's an actual mechanical keyboard, or is it just designed to just look like one for people who just don't have the money and just want the aesthetics? Because
honestly, based on the marketing, I would say the first more than later.
Yeah, but just because they marketed it that way, that doesn't mean that the idea of the product was that to begin with. But yeah, I can see I don't want to like defend HP. I have zero HP products in my house.
Yeah, I don't think I have any either. But yeah, I mean, I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah,
but it's in combination of all factors and the specialty and the special how it's marketed. I think it's kind of trying to make people believe in something that it isn't.
But I want to play devil's advocate again. All of the keyboards have terrible marketing. Because in preparation for the show, I just scrolled in and tried to find the keyboard on their website. And all of it is just terrible. Like, okay, imagine
what do I expect from HP?
A $6.99 rubber dome keyboard, full-sized keyboard, $6.99. The marketing pitch has a sentence in it that reads, "Increase your productivity with indicator lights." And if you think about something fancy right now, no, it's just caps lock, scroll lock, and num lock indicator lights. Yeah. How this increases any productivity at any point.
You know, when you're caps locking, that's productivity.
Is completely beyond me. So their marketing is just terrible.
Yeah, it's marketing. I mean, yeah.
Yes, but also there is better marketing than that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Does Alienware also sell peripherals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alienware are HP, right?
Yeah, that's. I think HP bought them at least, or they're at least somehow integrated into HP these days. I'm pretty sure about that, and they're like their gaming.
Oh yeah, they make keyboards. Alienware keyboards
company. So, and that's another thing. I think the real, in air quotes, gaming keyboards would have been from not HP but from Alienware, because that's like their brand for them.
Alienware is Dell. Omen is the HP one.
Oh, okay. Alienware was Dell.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Damn.
But I just looked it up, so we don't.
Okay. Whew. Good thing we fact checked.
Yeah.
That was a close one. Okay, but what was it? The Omen?
Omen, yeah.
Okay. I don't think I ever heard that. But anyways, like I said, I wanted to make the point that it would have made more sense if this was a real gaming keyboard, that it would have been marketed under the umbrella of their respective gaming brand.
And they have a gaming keyboard from Omen. And it's not $29, it's $75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably uses real switches.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's just both. They wanted a really cheap, gamey looking keyboard. Maybe it was just a combination of both. But yeah, it was, no matter how you spin it, it's like a really bad move, and you probably shouldn't do that, because in the worst case, you could just say that they're purposefully lying.
Misleading,
about what their product is,
Yeah, and there are enough, I mean, in pretty much either in Germany or in Europe in general, or in America, there are a lot of laws against false advertising.
Yeah.
So you could be liable for something like this.
Yeah. So it seems like the HP Omen keyboard is an actual mechanical keyboard, because it has NK rollover, which the membrane board can't really have and doesn't have. And here they also don't say what kind of switches they are. They just renowned blue mechanical switches. They don't specify if it's their own or they're made by who. But just because of the price, I'm pretty sure that they are actual mechanical switches.
Yeah, probably one of the Chinese branded ones.
Yeah.
I don't think 75 euros, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not Cherry.
No, that's not Cherry. But yeah, their marketing is just awful.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're even trying. It's like either do it or not, don't do it. But like they are just so incredibly half-assing it.
There is no try.
Yeah, like they're just so half-assing their accessories. It's insane.
Yeah, they're also half-assing their laptops and PCs, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
And as we just stated, we're not a general IT podcast. Not yet, anyway. Not yet.
Announcement coming soon. No, not really. not really.
New announcement. Talking about new announcements. Man, that was a good segue. I'm so proud of myself.
We're just rivaling Linus Tech Tip segues.
but in that case, we should now do
Actually, there's something I wanted to say about the previous keyboard. The HP mechanical keyboard. Yeah. And the definition of what is a mechanical switch. Because that discussion was in the Reddit comments, and that discussion is also in the reviews on the website of HP under this keyboard. The answer is there is no definition. Everybody, you can't come up with a definition that includes everything that the community sees as mechanical and excludes everything that it doesn't say as mechanical. There's a great video from, I think you pronounce him Kwer, on YouTube. He goes through all common definitions, or Thomas, yeah.
Call him Thomas.
He goes through all common definitions and explains why they are all terrible. And then basically ends with, doesn't really matter what you like. It doesn't really matter if it's per definition mechanical or not. It only matters if it's good or not. But we will link the video in the show notes. Definitely check it out. This is a really nice video about this topic. And if we can make one person not post under Reddit post, then I consider it a win.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to look at...
It's a pointless discussion.
It's a pointless, yeah. But it's a topic that people are passionate about because you can draw lines in the sand and people like those kind of discussions. And
trench
you just
warfare.
have to look at... Yeah,
As
exactly. Well, we Germans know about something about that. Austrians too.
No.
World War I reference.
This week on the Great War podcast.
we need sound effects like every time we do like an Austrian-Hungarian World War I joke or Germany joke or something.
What would be what would be the sound effect? Oh, just like a regular ding, not like machine gun fire.
Oh no, that's too dark. That's too dark.
At the sound of an exploding archduke.
Oh, dude. No, just like a counter ding ding. I don't know, like.
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, you just said to. Okay, let's not talk about this ever
segue
again.
away.
Yeah, well, I had a really nice segue and you destroyed it. But anyhow, okay, what I was going to segue before you totally outdone yourself is we just started the month of October, and in the first week I think about 4 new group buys for GMK keycaps started.
So the way I imagine it happening is some point last week you went up in the morning, you took your phone, you looked at mykeyboard.eu like every day in the morning to see what new GMK set you can spend money on. And you had 4 options.
Who doesn't?
And then it was 5, and then it was 6. Now you have 8.
8. That's, I mean,
1, 2, 3,
8 concurrently
4,
running
5, 6, 7. Wait.
GMK keycap group buys. That's insane.
Well, if you say GMK Pretty in Pink is part of that, then it's 9.
I counted that. Yeah, okay, then it's 9.
But yeah, you can drop a lot of money on GMK sets this week.
And that's just like, and we're just looking at mykeyboard.eu, which is the main proxy for stuff from from North America. But I think they're also, Oko launched one set or something, and that's not GMK. Yeah, but there's a lot of things just like, and we talked about this already, but it's kind of getting, I don't know. It's hard, like with all these sets coming out, you're like just like overloaded at some point. Just like, well, I can't get any of these anyways because just nobody has. Okay, well, no, not nobody. Not a lot of people don't have this kind of money, and at some point you're just like, well, I'm not getting any of it because.
Oh no! For the first time in my time in the hobby, I have to choose what to buy. It's terrible. You can just not buy stuff. But yeah, you have so many options. But like, see it that way. If every month has 9 key sets, you can just choose the one that you like the most. And get just that one.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, okay, realistically seen, most people have a monthly based income, at least in Europe. Your payout is monthly, not weekly or something. So that means you at start or middle of month, you're getting fresh money, which some parts go out for other stuff, and then you hopefully are left with some
GMK money.
Play money. Or just GMK money at this point, sure. And then you maybe can buy 1 set per month. And if every month something comes out, you can buy a lot of sets.
Yeah.
Right? So, because we all know, like, if you don't spend the money in 1 month, you're not saving it for the next year, just buying something else. Because who saves money?
Financial advice by Kwer.
don't follow my lead on that. Don't follow my lead on that. But no, yeah, I'm obviously making a joke, but it's just like putting these many sets out in just 1 week and running in parallel, like 4 different group buys. It's just like I feel like these sets are cannibalizing each other, because there's just like it's all GMK. They all have different colorways, inspirations, and kit support and stuff. There are differences for sure, but they're just like a finite amount of things people can buy. And if there are like so many sets out in parallel, you have to make decisions like, I'm gonna buy this, but I can't buy this. But if it would have been in 2 different months, maybe they would have bought both, because just like fresh money or something. So I feel like sometimes runners should maybe look at what other sets are coming in the same months region, and just say, well, I just take the next month or something.
Yeah.
Like, there should be more coordination between these things. And I can understand, especially something like, as I said, my keyword or other EU vendors are often just proxying for sets that are primarily run by American vendors, North American vendors, or Canadian vendors. So North American vendors, which should be both. And you have a lot more vendors in North America, like smaller ones for sure, but there's just a lot more of them. While in Europe, you have very few vendors. So in America, the set distribution is larger, and so maybe some vendors don't talk with each other. So it's usual that
that's what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to get at. That you have less coordination. While if you just look at my keyword, just like you think, why didn't they tell them just like, hey, don't do this month? We already have like this, and this set planned for this month. So maybe take the next one. But yeah.
But what we don't know is maybe next month has 7 sets as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, obviously. But I don't think there's that many sets already planned for November, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm curious how all of them do. Yesterday we quickly talked about it, and like I don't like most of them, which doesn't mean they're ugly, just that I don't like it, because all of them are fairly colorful, which is not really my current desired style. But yeah, I'm curious. So live feedback on my keyboard server, I just asked my keyword.io how they're doing, how all those sets are doing. And David said, pretty good, to be honest. And it's a record month so far. So the thing is, because we had a quick discussion yesterday where you were doubting the idea of running so many sets at the same time. And I was like, well, but if you don't try, you don't know how much purchasing power the market has, because the community grows so quickly.
Oh, that's true.
Because nobody considers that. Like, in retrospective, well, obviously a year ago, running 9 sets in the same month would have been absolutely insane.
I don't think we had like 9 sets in a whole year.
No. But yeah, that would have been completely insane. Like, there was no way that more than one even makes it. But from what David says, most of them might make it. So, because that was my point yesterday when we talked about it. It's like, I think the market is just way bigger than everybody expects at the moment.
Sure. And there are other factors too, like fear of missing out is pretty strong in this community with group buys. So people might just buy, if they can, somehow finance it, buy every set that comes out, just so they don't have to hope for extras or pay extra for the extras or something like that. And some people, I still believe this, just buy more sets or invest in extra sets to resell with with the intent of making money, aka flipping, later. So that probably also pushes numbers, but there's no hard evidence. It's just like I still think that's part of the sale numbers.
Yeah, you would see that if you do, like, if we have like 2 or 3 consecutive months like that, then you would see it.
Yeah,
but like even the fact that even for 1 month they apparently do well is already, well, I think it's a great sign, because
it's an absolutely great sign
for people like me who don't want to buy everything but just waiting for that perfect set that perfect encapsulates your idea of the perfect keycap set. There's just way more chances that it's gonna happen, way more chances that keycaps that come out that are what I want.
Absolutely. And there are some sets that are closely related to each other, either in colorways or ideas or execution, but there's also a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of different sets, and I think that's also great.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, there will always be sets that don't hit the current mood of the community, I guess. Even if the community grows, like, it will be easier to sell sets that are a bit more, let's call them specialized in the theme. But somebody will be the next person who has bad luck and just puts a set into group buy that just doesn't resonate.
Well, there was the GMK Rocket group buy was canned.
Yeah.
Or it was stopped after a certain amount of time. I think they could have made mock from the numbers, or they were expecting to make mock just from the sale numbers they had, but I think they felt like their numbers were still too low, just from what they were expecting. And so they decided to pull it and maybe rework it or restart it at some later point. So I think that was one of the most recent.
Yeah, David did not say all of them are doing great. Most of them are doing great. So, but let's say if 5 or 6 out of those 9 make MOQ, it's already a pretty insane month. And
there are quite a few high profile key sets running in parallel.
Yeah.
There's Camping Round 2.
Crimson Cadet, Sandstorm.
You have GMK Dracula that just started, which was also or is a very high profile set. Yeah. You have the Pretty in Pink is not a whole set, but it's for a good cause and it's cheap, so that probably makes it easy. And then you have Phosphorus, which
well, we mentioned it in the
exactly. Now I remember.
In the Nordic Kit episode.
Exactly. It has one of the cheaper Nordic kits.
Yeah.
From the sets that have a Nordic kit that are running. So I hope that will make it. That would be nice. And I think it's running okay from the numbers I've seen. So, yeah.
So, interesting enough, I just looked at a website that checks on subreddits and displays charts of growth.
Yeah.
Because, in general, you can probably say the mechanical keyboard subreddit grows about in the same rate, at least, as all of the community.
That would be fair to assume.
Obviously, it doesn't represent the actual numbers, but it represents the growth, I would say.
Yeah.
And just this year, so in January, the beginning of January, the subreddit had 328,000 subscribers, and now we are on 440. So just in this 1 year, well, not even 1 year, we're in October. Like in the last 10 months, it grew by over 30%.
That's significant.
Yeah.
That's definitely significant.
Because if you look at the data from January 2017 to now, the subscriber count tripled. So you could say that if you say that approximately what the community grows, the community tripled in size in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Which would make a lot of sense if you think about how many sets are making MOQ now.
Yeah. And you can see it also in the last episode where we discussed the new Razer board, the Huntsman Tournament Edition or whatever. That's a keyboard that's built closer to the community in a lot of ways than what they did before, which is, I think, an effect of that the community is getting so strong that the makers of boards have to look at what the community wants, and not ignore it in a way, because our numbers are rising.
Yeah, and the numbers of enthusiasts are rising. The numbers of non-enthusiasts and just buyers of off-the-shelf OEM boards will grow probably similarly. I think it's just a result of the growth of PC gaming and stuff in general.
Sure, but I mean, it's just like the market is getting more interesting for them.
Yeah, of course, because it grows.
The numbers are right. Yeah, exactly.
And for us, it gets more interesting too, because you can just make more stuff, because it's way easier to find customers now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the things that we talked in the last year, like the insane rise of custom switches, we both got into community that was almost none. And now you have like hundreds, it feels like, at least.
Yeah.
Now we have months where 9 GMK sets are running at the same time. Like, that's absolutely insane at the time.
All of them are making mock, probably.
Yeah, so. And when we came to the community, it was like, yeah, there's 1 GMK set running this month, and I hope it makes MOQ. And like, you would go.
Yeah.
A thought I had yesterday is from back at the time, basically all big GMK sets were run on Massdrop at the time. So Massdrop had like one, or I think one per month, or like one every 2 months, like this. Like,
yeah, something more.
It feels like it has been forever since a bigger group I was run on Drop. Like one of Oblotsky's sets, maybe.
Oblivion would be the last one I remember.
But it's like, it's not common at all, because we just like, you basically can just organize a group and sell 300-400 sets if it's a nice one.
And in general, I feel that Drop has gotten a bit out of the keyboard enthusiasts market thingy, or it reduced their presence in a way.
But the question is if they wanted that or not, or if it's just a result. Because I mean, what did it didn't offer anything to the community, really.
No, it was just in the beginning, it was the only way to have large enough audience. Exactly.
Yeah, and nowadays you don't need Drop. You don't have shitty shipping for 2/3 of the world. Like Europe and
with added costs.
Europe and Asia are all, like, shipping was terrible to both of those regions from Drop. They were more expensive. The only advantage it had was it made MOQ more easily. And now it seems like you don't need Drop anymore.
It made MOQ.
Or it made MOQ, yeah. And now it seems like you don't need it anymore, so.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've seen growth in the community. And all for the better. So, absolutely looking forward to the next month.
Yeah, if it continues like this, it will be insane in another year.
At some point, just it has to slow down, right? I mean, please. And I mean, still, we're not a podcast or content producing whatever that rattles down like the group buys or ICs or whatever that are coming out in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And if you look at the Top Click episodes or stuff, they're getting longer and longer because there are just so many group buys and ICs to talk about.
Yeah.
And they even leave stuff out, and still it's just like going on, and most of it is just like GMK set. Yeah. But as we had in other episodes, there's new stuff coming, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, Cat is taking off. There's going to be the new HSA profile from JTK.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the next year we'll see something else than just the up-teenth GMK group buy.
Looking forward to that. Lots of options. Always nice. Except if you're somebody who has to buy everything, then, well, I guess you find a job that pays you more. Because you will need the money.
Yeah, just stop eating and
Instant ramen your way through life.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody just at some point somebody posted a quote that was just like, well, you can't type on money, so why not spend it on keyboards? Which I feel that's a good quote for this hobby.
Yeah. Let's put that on your gravestone.
On my gravestone will be the final delay catched up to him.
And on that note,
yeah. Talk to you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.